everybody. Greetings and good tidings to you all. It is the Tuesday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown, the very first show of the new year. Happy 2024, everybody. And I know people are on their New Year's resolutions. And let me just state for the record, New Year, same old me. The new year, same old Kim, baby. We ain't improving on shit. No, I'm kidding. But welcome to everybody. I hope you were able to celebrate the new year in good spirits with good company, even if that company was yourself. Who is better company than you? So I don't knock you if you spent the new year on your own or doing whatever you did, but I'm glad that you guys have made some time to come kick it with me on the second day of 2024. Come on in, everybody. Give the video a like, a thumbs up, all that stuff. I'm about to shout y'all out here in a second. I appreciate it. Thank you so much to our supporters and everybody that checked out some of the content while we were on our break last week. Oh, shout out to Jody P. Jody P, thank you so much for your very generous Cash App support of the channel. Shout out to Donnie, Afraid Not. Thank you so much, Donnie, for supporting us here. We want to start off the show really by sending continued love and solidarity to the people of Palestine, to the people that are suffering under the bombardment that continues to happen in Gaza. Israel is committing genocide and war crimes. Like, there's no way around that. When you bomb refugee camps and then come back and be like, ups, it's like, no, motherfucker, ain't no fucking ups. Ain't no goddamn ups. Y'all knew what the fuck y'all was doing. So we want to send love still to the Palestinian people. We want to say big up to the Haitian people because January 1st, anniversary of the Haitian Revolution, we ain't never going to forget that shit. You know what I'm saying? Big up to my mans, Toussaint Louverture and Jean-Jacques Dessalines. You know what I'm saying? Got the shit did against the colonizers. We ain't never gonna forget that. And shout out to the Cuban people as well. It was the anniversary of the Cuban Revolution too. So big up, big up, big up. We've got a show in store for y'all today, y'all. And I guess the theme of today's show is, which is an ongoing theme and beat for this platform, is, if you're black, you got to stop calling the cops, man. And I think this is something that we really need to really get our asses in gear for, to educate our folks during this perfect opportunity. New year, new education for everybody, y'all. Black people cannot call the police because we do not get the same response. We do not get the same treatment. We do not get the same respect. And in a lot of cases, calling the police to your aid can sometimes result in either your arrest or, in some worser cases, your death. I'm sure you all are very familiar with the story coming out of Los Angeles. We're going to get into that. The young woman calling the police because she was experiencing a domestic violence incident from her partner or former partner. But police showed up and shot her. Oh, very, very, very sobering stuff to start off the new year. But also, I want to get into a story that I think did make some rounds over the holiday break. And to be honest, I definitely fall into a news black hole during the holidays. Don't ask me what's going on in the world. I don't know. Because I don't care. And not that I don't care as a person, as a lack of humanity. No, I just need a respite from all of the amazing news that happens in America and around the globe under late stage capitalism and American military hegemony. It's all very fun times. Hold on, but before I get into that shit, what's up, everybody? What's up, Franny Francais? What's up, Cape Socialist? Thank you for checking in from the continent. Holly Horn in the building. What's going on? Is that jigging? I can't fucking read and shit. Oh, shout out to our good mods, to our good sis Court, and to the good brother Latif. Shout out to Chuck Diesel in absentia. We still represent. What's up, Valencia? Thank you so much for coming through. There goes my son Tyler. Love to see you and her. Oh, also shout out to the good sister and Jacqueline Lookman. I didn't catch the Remix Morning Show this morning for the simple fact that I overslept. I woke up, it was 9:22. I said, "Oh, or it appears as though I have missed the program." So I'm gonna see if I can catch them on the flip side. What's up, Germ? But from my understanding, Sister Jacqueline was in the building. Very excited to see Jackie back out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? New kidney, who this? You know, we can't get enough of that. So yeah, we're trying to celebrate all the good news, everybody, because God help us. That's motherfucker. Chichi Macha peace, John Kemper peace, James peace. Look at my bruvs coming through. They're going to see what's up, bruvs. See, appreciate. I be appreciating to see the bruvs in the building. That is real. That's real shit. I do. I want y'all to know that. So anyway, y'all, come on in here, give the video a like, a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Thank you to everyone that has already subscribed to Burn It Down with Kim Brown. We are over 4,000 subscribers to start off 2024. If you want to support the channel, do that in all the ways. BIDWKB, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Patreon.com/BIDWKB. And this first story I wanted to start off with you guys has to do with ableism. What? Ableism? Nobody cares about ableism, Kim. Fuck them disabled people, right? I know y'all don't feel that way, but that's the way. What's it, y'all? Of the world. Disabled people are told to go the fuck home. That's what they said to Reverend William Barber. Yes, the very well-known civil rights activist, the pastor from North Carolina. You don't see Reverend Barber out there stomping literally in marches surrounding a range of events, but most notably the voter ID law that was illegal and I believe got struck down in North Carolina. Reverend Barber was a part of that. And listen, as a lot of these Black Democrats and people who are Democratic Party adjacent, we don't agree with all of their politics all of the time, but we certainly do have some common ground. I'm not going to sit on here in front like I don't agree with William Barber or nothing. But let's talk about this incident. In case you guys did not know, over the holiday break in Greenville, North Carolina, Courtney, the fuck was they doing in Greenville? Reverend Barber showed up to an AMC movie theater in Greenville with his 90-year-old mother. And Reverend Barber, as you guys know, is a disabled man. He is a visibly disabled man. He suffers from a very particular and aggressive form of arthritis. And I have the name here, and I got to tell you, that shit ain't easy to pronounce. It says it is called ankylosing shit. Spondylitis. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not saying it right, I'm sure Reverend Barber won't be offended because that shit is multisyllabic and a bunch of consonants put together. That shit ain't easy to pronounce. So regardless, if you've ever seen Reverend Barber in the world, he's usually using two canes or he is using a wheelchair. He is a mobility aid user, okay? And Reverend Barber is a very public person. So anyway, long story short, he went to go see The Color Purple at the AMC movie theater in Greenville, North Carolina with his mother over the holidays. And when he brought in his specialized chair and placed it in the ADA accessible area, the the Americans with Disability Act, which is 30 some years old, which allegedly allegedly provides federal legal protections for persons with disability, that public spaces such as businesses have to make accommodation for disabled folks, for all folks, right? All persons is the key there. So when Reverend Barber got to the joint and posted up in his accommodation chair, he was approached by managers from the AMC theater telling him to leave. And I want us to pick it up. Part of this incident was captured on tape. And Will, if we could cue up that TikTok, please. So what we're about to see here is the opening credits for the movie theater. The theater is already darkened, and you can hear Reverend Barber in an exchange with someone who we presume is an employee of the AMC movie theaters. And they're basically telling him he got to go. Okay, this shit's fucking crazy. Hold on. Actually, yeah. We'll actually run the package real quick. Let's run the package real quick, and then we'll come back to the TikTok. Because this is how it was reported really quickly in Greenville. And then we're going to get the story directly from what was recorded by witnesses, and then we're going to hear directly from Reverend Barber himself. But first, let's get how this was covered locally. And this is like a minute and some change, so this ain't nothing real deep. But this is how this was covered locally in North Carolina after the news of Reverend Barber's escorting. It was not, or he was not arrested, to be clear. He was not arrested, but he was escorted from the theater by Greenville police. Let's take a look.
Afternoon, I'm Jason Abbott. Police have confirmed that a movie theater asked a well-known civil rights activist and church leader to leave their building after a dispute over seating arrangements. The Greenville Police Department says officers were called to the AMC Fire Tower 12 movie theater in Greenville yesterday afternoon for a trespassing call. Police say 2 officers were there for a customer arguing with staff. That customer was Bishop William Barber II. Barber is a civil rights activist who served as president of the North Carolina NAACP president from 2006 to 2017. He says he has a medical condition and cannot sit in a regular chair. Barber says he tried to use the special chair in the handicapped section, and he was told by staff that he could not. Barber says he's holding a press conference tomorrow to address the situation.
Interesting, and I'm going to be a little easy on the local press there because there, some aspects about the way that was framed and not sitting all that great. The police were called to the movie theater over a seating dispute. Well, it's not a seating dispute if the movie theater is acting illegally and not providing legal accommodations for a person who is disabled, who has their own accommodations, right? And so anyway, let's cue up that TikTok if we could, Will, because part of the reason I want to bring the story to you guys is not because this happened to William Barber, right? We talk about ableism on this platform all the time. Maybe not even as much as I should, to be honest. And I don't talk about inaccessibility as much as I should, to be honest, because these are also my own experiences and they are painful and they fucking suck. Okay, it sucks real bad when you encounter inaccessibility and ableism out in the world, because you're like, Jesus, where is the actual safe space? It's not in the world for disabled people, especially those who present as visibly disabled as Reverend Barber does. So listen to the treatment and the exchange here between the AMC movie theater employee and Reverend Barber when they are insisting that he leave the movie theater and leave behind his 90-year-old mother, who he brought to the movie to see The Color Purple. Let's take a look at the TikTok.
I'm going to take you out.
I cannot go out.
Okay, I'm going to tell you you are removed the property, and I'm going to take you out, and I'll charge you up my car. That's fine.
If you want to take me out and leave the property, then I'll do that.
Yep, that's what I want to do.
All right, well, you're going to have to put me
If you're looking forward to those movies, you should be on the AMC Stubbs A-list. Find a crew member out of the show and ask how you can get credit for this movie. And to our millions of AMC Stubbs members, a very special thanks to you. We hope you're enjoying your savings, rewards, and exclusive benefits. If you're not an AMC Stubbs member, join today.
Do you guys want an assistant? Okay, well, I'm just going to tell him to stop the program for everybody and be sitting here by himself.
He can take me out. I can do the people. Y'all know the Bishop Barber.
Yeah.
They saying that my chair.
He can come back. Well, he's not allowed to come back.
I want the children to see this.
Come to AMC is to love, to cry.
I've been in the White House with this chair.
Yeah.
They've called an officer of the law, the AME Theater in Greenville, North Carolina. They would not make amends to simply do the right thing. But we'll deal with it. They brought this officer. What's your name, Mr. Officer? Can I shake your hand? I ain't trying to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. This is Officer Lemon. I want to know your name.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem.
Smallest in the wheelchair.
I'm taking up no space.
No space. I was in the handicap space, which I sit all the time.
Sandra.
Taking no space.
Hold up, hold up.
So that is what happened in the moment there at the AMC Theater in Greenville. You saw the Greenville police were called to the scene. I'm I'm a little unclear as to who actually called the police, and you guys will see what I mean here in a few minutes, because I'm not certain whether or not the movie theater employees called the police on Mr. Barber or Reverend Barber, or did Reverend Barber call the police himself, which, does not discount the treatment that he received, but goes back to my earlier point of Black folks can't call the police in hopes of receiving equal service from the cops. In this particular instance, Reverend Barber, rather, in his press conference that we're about to see an excerpt from, Reverend Barber says, him being a Black man and having the police called on him because he was, quote, being argumentative could have ended up a lot worse. And we're very grateful that it did not end up that way for Reverend Barber. However, y'all, we have seen it here on this channel and really everywhere that disabled people, if they are presenting visibly with disabilities, or if they are experiencing mental health crisis, are usually not handled with kid gloves by cops. And it can sometimes turn into fatal encounters, or, just outright indignity, or civil rights being by a variety of things. But I wanted to say on this topic here with Reverend Barber, because Reverend Barber is a somebody, okay, in the sense that he, in this day and age, in the 21st century, fame is currency, right? So regardless of whatever you are famous for, if people recognize you and know who you are, then sometimes that can afford a different level of treatment. In this case, Reverend Barber, who is well known there in that Eastern North Carolina area, right? North Carolinians, despite the fact that he was recognized by these AMC employees, they still made it a point to single him out because of his disability, to humiliate him publicly in front of a crowded theater and in front of his mother, which apparently this outing to the Color Purple was a very special occasion for her. And to highlight the fact that, disabled people, especially Black disabled people, should have no expectations of being accommodated or have their disability being accommodated in public spaces. And if you make a complaint about it, well, then it's the police coming to talk to you, okay? Because that's white folks' customer service right there. There's a Negro here acting in a way that I don't appreciate. Can someone send customer service? 911, hello? Yes. we need an officer here, because this nigga's over here talking shit. So let's get to Reverend Barber's press conference, guys, because he said some things here that I definitely found interesting. And again, even I question a little bit: did he call the police, or did the movie theater employees call the police on him? I'm not clear on that. But he's going to open this next clip by talking about the movie theater employees, how they asked him, why was he making a big deal? And despite the fact that Reverend Barber was calmly trying to de-escalate the situation and explain to the movie theater's employees how they had violated the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, they didn't give a single fuck, okay? They didn't give a fuck that this nigga knew the fucking law frontwards and backwards. They didn't give a fuck that they were supposed to accommodate. They didn't give a single fucking shit. And let's not even underestimate the way in which racism played a prominent role in this incident, in addition to ableism. But I want us to hear from Reverend Barber, and this is going to be a couple minute clip from the hour-long press conference that he gave. And let me credit Roland Martin's channel. Roland Martin covered this press conference, carried it live. So credit to Roland Martin for being on top of this particular issue. So let's hear from Reverend Barber from the press conference he held.
But this is not about me personally. Though it happened to me personally, this is about what systemic changes and policy changes to training need to be done to ensure this happens to no one. AMC should mean this. When somebody sees AMC, that it should mean, I know they will accommodate me caringly. AMC. Now, one of the managers asked me, why was I making a big deal of this? Yeah, literally. Oh yeah, why are you making a big deal about this? Well, the promises of liberty and equality are a big deal. The democratic practice that requires accommodations for the differently able is a big deal. We do not do this as a concession to the demands of some who who refuse to be silent. We commit to it as a people because we believe we are better with the contribution of everybody in society. Yes. When the managers of AMC Theater told me I could not use the chair that allows me to participate in public life, I did not challenge them simply because I wanted to see a movie with my mother. While that is true, it was wrong. It's constitutionally wrong. It's morally wrong. It's ethically wrong. They said, no matter how much I explain, your chair can't come in. Your chair is a fire hazard. No, the chair isn't a fire hazard. Where you place it is a fire hazard. If it was fire hazard, I couldn't have taken it in hospitals and White House and Broadway. It's where you place it. It's called accommodation. They said, no matter how much I explained, I called 911 when I saw the security guy with the gun, and I'm like, what kind of training? I called them and asked them, can y'all send somebody over here to explain, to help them understand this is wrong? They said, we don't get involved in that, but I was worried about the whole escalation of what was going on. They called for arrest and eventually described me as arguing and disturbing, not debating what they were doing. They asked the police to remove me. One said, and if he doesn't leave, charge him with trespassing. The other manager also said, you need to go get a note from your doctor and then come back. Both of them said, we know who you are. And that's when it triggered me that this was bigger than me. Because if you would do this to me.
Say, Bishop.
And I've already heard from a couple clergy in this city who said they have some information about some other persons who have been impacted. I'm not ready to talk about the names or anything. They summoned the officers with guns. They caused me to leave my mother, 90 years old, with an attendant and a young girl who still today is trying to figure out what was this all about. She, in fact, has a disability herself. When the Greenville police escorted me out, they actually said they were sorry and left the scene. Then the managers brought their security guard out again with his gun, that I'm not sure how he's even trained, to tell me that my driver and I had to leave the premises, could not wait on my mother, and even told the news reporter, I don't know if she's here today, there she is right there. They told her she had to leave. The news reporter, am I lying? Told you had to go. I'm like, what in the world? And then, I'm not releasing it today, but we have the film of one of them as my driver helped me get in the car, taunting like this. As though you had accomplished something. I challenge them because I know that if I cannot sit in my chair in a theater in Greenville, North Carolina, that we work this out with my doctor because I can't sit low, I can't sit in a wheelchair, that there are thousands of other people who will be excluded from public spaces in this nation.
I encourage you guys to go look at that presser, regardless of if your opinions on William Barber on this issue. Watching his presser, I mean, he was pretty much flawless. There's going to be a lot of quote of scriptures. He quotes quite a bit of scripture, and it was definitely, he was giving more of a sermon rather than a press conference, but it was apropos. Will, at your convenience, can you drop that link, the YouTube link, in the chat? It don't have to be immediate, but when you get a chance, I want you guys to look at it because it was good. In that press conference, William Barber spoke about, the ableism that, in addition to this incident there at the movie theater, when he was initially diagnosed with his disabling condition, he said people within the church told him, you shouldn't be a pastor. How you going to be a pastor? You can't walk. How you going to be a preacher? You can't stand upright. like the way that the ableism presents itself, it comes in all corners. It comes from all corners, I should say. And this incident for him is just the latest, I'm certain, humiliating one that he has endured because he is a disabled person, right? And y'all, visibly disabled people experience this all the time. They experience it all the time. We talk about this in our disability support chats, our around the fire disability support chats that we have twice a month. Well, once a month, every second Saturday at 3 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern. Anna Hart, I found you on the block list and I unblocked you, beloved. So if you're here, drop some information. But we talk about this on this platform, basically, is what I'm saying. And if well-known William Barber can have this happen to him, trust and believe that it happens to disabled people who are without status, who are without notoriety, who are generally without power, and very little is done. There is no attention brought. And this is an intentional thing. Ableism and inaccessibility is an intentional form of oppression against those who are disabled, either visibly or invisibly. Even though AMC Theaters has space for disabled folks, the disabled folks who could use said space still encounter the ableism and the inaccessibility. It's a mind fuck, trust me. And for William Barber, he said that the CEO of AMC Theaters has already been in touch. Of course, the repair machine has already been activated. The PR around this, AMC is trying to, smooth things over. But what Reverend Barber there talked about, systemic policy changes that has to happen. And I can tell you, most employees of most front-facing public businesses are not trained nor equipped to deal with disabled people's requests for accommodations, right? Even though, like I said, the ADA space was there for Mr. Barber, Reverend Barber, I keep calling him Mr. Reverend Barber, to have his accessible chair there, he was still denied. And like he said, the denial was bullshit. A fire hazard? Well, move the fucking thing. then move it so it's not a fire hazard. But that don't mean move him. That don't mean move him. And we see this honestly in all systems of oppression, right? We're in the sense that, we're only AMC Theaters, for example, in this instance, there's only ableism and inaccessibility here because there's a disabled person present, right? So in order to get around the ableism, we'll just remove the disabled person. And see, there we go. No ableism problem here because there's no disabled person here to complain. In the Supreme Court ruling pertaining to affirmative action admissions in colleges, we don't have a racism problem because we don't let blacks in anymore. We haven't had no racism complaints on campus. Why? Because we told all the niggas they could not come, right? The racism problem solved. There you go. And that is the American solution to shit, right? Not to be better, not to so-called level the playing field. No, you remove the problematic people. You remove the undesirables. So the white heteronormative Christian male, able bodies, because then they can all be on to themselves and enjoy the world as it was created and presented for them. And one other thing that Reverend Barber did in this is that he went out of his way in this press conference to say this is not about Reverend Barber got bad service. No, like this is what 1 out of 4 people in this country deal with. That is how many disabled folks that we're talking about, okay? I'm disabled. Jackie Lukman is disabled. We have disabled people that we are in community with, right? And you might not look at me and Jackie and think that we are disabled folks. All the more reason that we need to expand the way that we even think or conceptualize disability. And what does it mean for true inclusivity to have people involved in all the spaces, right? Like, I hate the fact, like, and I see this writing on the wall sometimes, and it really bothers me, and I don't like it. But like, I know at some point I'm gonna have to join up in an organization because I see sometimes in some organizations, and I'm not gonna be specific because it doesn't even fucking matter which ones, because a lot of them have this issue. But there is lots of inaccessibility even within revolutionary spaces. Like sometimes information is not presented and disseminated in a way in which all people can consume it. You understand what I'm saying? So it's awesome that people write dope articles or books or give, cool like if everybody of all ability levels are not able to consume that, there's a deficit there in who is included in this revolution. You know what I'm saying? Like who gets to be um privy to some of this information if not everybody can get to it. Does that I'm not sure if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me, goddamn. So but getting back to the slight inconsistency in Reverend Barber's story, guys. In the TikTok clip, we saw him in the movie lobby saying they called the police, right? They got these armed officers out here, da da da. But in his press conference, he said that he called 911 because he was fearful of the armed security guard there at the movie theater. He said he was not certain about how this person was trained. And to be clear, Reverend Barber was correct to have those fears. I question why he called the police, right? Again, that's a slight inconsistency in his story, but it doesn't diminish or take away from the treatment that he received. It doesn't diminish or take away from the fact that he received um ableism and was denied accessible accommodation that he was legally entitled to. It doesn't diminish from that at all. But I just question him a little bit. If he did call the cops, sir, did you really expect the police to come help you? And even I guess, baby, by not killing him, they helped. You know what I'm saying? Like by not injustifiably arresting him or subjecting him to some more maltreatment, I guess the cops did a good thing because they didn't do shit, which is, I guess, good because they didn't cause harm. But I'm just curious. I don't know what the outcome he was expecting. Like, again, I know Reverend Barber is well known in them parts, but dog, you still black and a loudmouth out here, shorty. You think the cops is on your side? I wouldn't assume that. I wouldn't make that assumption. So I'm just curious. Like, you called the police for what? They still put you out. You still had to leave your mama. And that is all very, very unfortunate. But just to be clear, the police were not there to be on Reverend Barber's side. He was very fortunate that he at least encountered some indifferent police, not hostile or overly hostile police. Like that was very much a luck of the draw situation for Reverend Barber. He definitely rolled the dice there, calling the cops to his aid. But I just wanted to point that out, everybody. Like, so, you see this happening to Reverend Barber, a so called respected individual who is visibly disabled. This man uses two canes, and you hear the absolute absurdity of asking a man who is using two canes to walk for him to get up and leave a movie theater when he is already seated, when further accommodation could be given to him to the satisfaction, I would hope, of the AMC movie theater management. If you're insisting that his accommodation chair is a fire hazard, fucking move it. Don't move him out of the theater. That is not solving the problem. And that is an issue within our society, within all businesses, all public spaces, even governmental spaces. They're not ready to deal with disabled folks, y'all. And trust me, whew, you don't understand that until you are on the receiving end of that. Like you can see how William Barber was treated. You can hear me maybe on occasion when I'm feeling froggy. I might convey to y'all some shitty treatment I feel as though I received because of my disability. But y'all, you don't really get it until you get it. And then that shit is like, oh, fuck. What am I going to do? Get mad? Oh, Lord. Because what am I going to do? Start, get loud, yelling. What's happening after that, everybody? The cops are coming. Right. What is my recourse here? You got to eat that humiliation in the moment. You got to eat that indignity in the moment. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want shit to escalate, because as a Black disabled person, especially, or an Indigenous disabled person, especially, you are viewed upon as a threat. and the cops will come, and we have seen it time and time again. They will come up and they will shoot you, and not think shit about it. And in fact, use your disability as a justification as to why they killed you. Ain't that a bitch? Getting the state involved. But then on the business level, some routine complaints from industries about the way that they treat disabled people does not seem to get addressed. The way that wheelchair users are treated by the airlines when trying to travel with their wheelchairs and properly check their wheelchairs so that their wheelchair will be in the same working order in which they left it when they arrive at their destination. But oftentimes, wheelchair users will find that the airline luggage handling staff will just be throwing their very expensive, usually customized chairs all around so that their chairs are damaged, they are unusable. The airlines are usually non-responsive, and when they do respond, it is slowly, and it is not meeting the needs um reciprocal to the harm that the airline themselves caused, right? So if I'm a wheelchair user and I check my chair in Baltimore and I show up at fucking LAX and my shit is busted, the fuck? What the fuck am I supposed to do now? My chair is fucked up. Are y'all gonna order me a new chair tomorrow? Are you gonna FedEx me a new chair in 3 days? Absolutely not. That's not how that shit works at all. And from a governmental position, you think Pete Buttigieg from the transportation secretary, you think Pete Buttigieg on top of this shit? Absolutely not. And for the people who are blind and visually impaired, who use service animals, who get routinely left at their pickup locations by rideshare drivers who will refuse them service because they have a service animal. Like, the ableism is baked into this country, everybody. Please don't think that in the 21st century, just because we so-called woke, and I'm using woke as a good thing here, we supposed to be woke. We're not supposed to be sleep, goddamn it. Don't let the conservatives fucking bastardize our terminology. But since we're supposed to be woke and be thinking about everybody, we need to be thinking about everybody, and we need to be thinking about these things. And if you are an abled person, fully able person, and you see some shit, just like when the good whites, when y'all see some fucking racist shit, y'all better say something. Abled people, when y'all see some ableist shit, you better fucking say something. Say something. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, do something, say something, do something. It would have been awesome if all the people in that theater at the Color Purple had got up and walked out in solidarity with how Reverend Barber was being treated. But that didn't happen. So anyway, woo! Just continue to loud up the thing, you guys. Ableism is as detrimental, as harmful of a system of oppression as racism, as misogyny, as homophobia, as transphobia. And for people like myself who stand at the intersection of multiple marginalized communities, I'm here to tell y'all, disabled people get it bad out here. They do get it bad. And it's not going to change until abled people start making sure that the shit, when the shit say accessible, that it actually is accessible. We have to start pointing out inaccessibility even to those within our own spaces, even to those that are advocating and really doing the revolutionary and liberation work on behalf of Black people and other oppressed people. The ableism still exists in those corners as well. So it's imperative that we continue to teach, man. We gotta keep teaching the fucked up folks and the folks that don't mean to be fucked up. But so there's that. Take a little pausing pause here. A little pause for the cause. Anyway, what's up, y'all? Come on, True. Come on, True. Thank you all so much for being here. Oh my God, the other part. I'm not gonna get back into it, but when Reverend Barber said, excuse me, the fucking manager told him to go get a doctor's note and come back, nigga. I'm gonna be back with a can of kerosene, motherfucker. Like, you thought y'all was gonna watch the movie? Ain't nobody about to watch no fucking movie. I go, you wanna come back with a doctor? No, I'm gonna come back with something else. I'm coming back with something else. I'm gonna be back. It ain't gonna be with a doctor's note, nigga. You gonna need a doctor's note. The audacity, sus. Forgive me, God. But y'all know what I'm saying. Lady Alex, that's just funny. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for being here. Come on in, get the video a like, a thumbs up. Oh, look at y'all, 70. Y'all must have missed me and shit. Y'all must have got some notifications. I told you YouTube be acting like a whole ass biatch out this biatch. Zizzy Bell. Hey, shout out to Afra Sings as well. Is Afra in here? No, I don't see Afra, but I know. Well, Zenzi Bell, Afra. Who else do I believe? Oh, Franny. Who else do I believe? I believe them three chicks is wrecking behind some shit they see in the world. like, oh well, Afra's already proved it. I've told y'all I've been out in the world with Afra, and Afra has made it obvious that somebody can play these games if they feel like it. Afra's 5'9" out here. And we're 5'9" to shut out your ass. Okay. I appreciate that. I think Zenzi Bell, same way. I think Fernie French, same way. They would rumble in the jungle over some shit. I believe that. I believe that. So thank you guys for being that way. And thank everybody. If you're that way, like if you were really that way, and trust me, if you're not really that way, that's okay too, because not everybody is willing to get physical in a situation or to intervene in the situation. Again, I'm disabled. I can't be intervening on the street on behalf of strangers. What the fuck I look like? You know what I'm saying? Something bad's gonna happen to me. But again, if your ability level is there and you got the ovaries or the scrotum balls to do that shit, do that shit. Infinite Content, what's up, good bruv? How you feel? Shout out to Infinite Content. Thank you so much for your super chat support. Infinite says, "Peace, Fire Fam. I just wanted to thank everyone who hold on, baby. Who wished me condolences about the passing of your grandmother. Oh, Infinite Content. I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh my goodness. Condolences to your entire family for the passing of your matriarch there. I'm very sorry to hear that. Infinite says that he greatly appreciate it. Oh, Infinite, thank you. So again, very sad news to share to hear. But yes, Fire Fam, thank you guys for sending love to Infinite Content. Infinite Content, I'm sorry to hear about your grandmother, honey. Our deepest condolences to the family. Who else was I gonna? I think I did all my money shout outs. I can't think of no shout outs. Anyway, gang, thank you guys so much. Hold on. What's that say, Zizzy? Hold on. But now what's real, Zizzy Bell? Wait, what just happened here? Oh, it is Zizzy Bell. Hold on. If you really want to be my boo. Jazzy Bell, don't you rise around. Outcast had a couple misogynistic songs, and I was one of them. Jazzy Bell. But they didn't what I fucked with about Outkast and Wu-Tang is that they didn't traffic hard in the misogyny. They did lightweight misogyny. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't expect no rappers of the 90s to be misogyny absent, not usually, but Outkast and Wu, they kept it light. What you say here, Zenzi Bell? Thank you, darling. Zenzi Bell said, "Well, shoot, I got all the feels now." Oh, why? Because I think you would wreck some shit behind some injustice. I do. I'm sorry. It's, nothing about your affect tells me that you wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Afro same way. It's that New York, and not to say that doesn't take nothing away from DC. But I'm saying, the New York is just engaged different. You know what I'm saying? They just engage with strangers different. Like, it's like, the fuck? Like, I mean, I like that about New Yorkers, to be honest. So there's that. Anyway, guys, y'all come on in here, give the video a like and a thumbs up. Shit's about to get a little heavy here. So let me just give all the heads up, the trigger warnings, the content warnings. This is for police brutality. This is for domestic violence. And, I was like, what's up, Damien? Peace to Stone and Loader. I was so disheartened to hear this story, y'all. This especially coming off the heels of the news of a story that we covered late last year here on the channel, in which, fuck, what was the name of that place? very small place in Mississippi. God damn it. And I can't remember the name of it, but you guys remember. The sister had an issue with her partner. She told her 11-year-old son to call the police. The young man called the police. The police showed up and shot the 11-year-old in the chest. Fortunately, the 11-year-old survived, but the police shot the 11-year-old in the chest because the mother was calling for help because of a domestic incident. And the story that came out of California that happened December of 2023, but the news around it is mainly breaking now, is equally as heartbreaking. Will, if you could pop up the article for me, please. Again, content warning, trigger warning for police brutality in domestic violence. But if we could see the picture of that very beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous young lady. Her name is Niani Finlayson. Finlayson. 27 years old, a mother of two. She had a 9-year-old and a 2-year-old. Back on December 4th, she called 911 because her ex-boyfriend had appeared at her home and was allegedly assaulting her. And she called the police for assistance. And as you see there in the headline from The Guardian, it says police fatally shoot Black woman who called 911 for domestic violence. And you guys know the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department is a notorious band of thugs. Google LASD gangs when you get the opportunity, because you see that it is an agency fraught with lawlessness and rampant harassment and torture of the community of Los Angeles County. LASD killed lots of people in LA, a lot of whom have been unarmed, some of whom have been suffering with mental health crisis. But in this case with Niani, she called the police for help. And the police officer who shot her, his name is Ty Shelton. Ty Shelton, this is his second fatal shooting as a Los Angeles sheriff's deputy. In the year 2020, Officer Shelton shot and killed a 61-year-old man, also during the course of a domestic violence incident. And I'm going to come back to that in a moment. But let me stick here with this case here. Again, this happened December 4th. And what made this so tragic, it's a number of things. Well, number one, not what made it tragic is obvious, right? This young lady lost her life when she was calling for help. Okay. But what it highlights is a couple of things. Number one, the regularity in which Black women are subjected to sexual violence and domestic violence is an everyday thing. Okay. This ain't new. This ain't unusual. This ain't uncommon. We've seen this lots. Okay. You guys, in the year 2022, I personally knew 2 men who murdered their partners. Personally knew 2 men in 1 year who murdered their partners, right? So, and that's just me. I know y'all have had incidents close to you. Family members, neighbors, you all have shared this with me. You guys know the rates in which Black women have been murdered out here, either by their partners or on occasion by strangers on the street, right? But I digress. Back to Niami. When she called the police arrived, and I'm gonna play that body cam clip for you guys, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay. The reason I want to play this clip is not to traumatize, even though it's going to be traumatic. And I apologize in advance for that. But what I'm trying to illustrate here is, again, the quickness in which the police seemingly surmise a situation and decide to use deadly force. There is no fucking way that any cop is trained. That's a lie. Let me back that up. There's no fucking way that these cops aren't trained this way to react in a split second, regardless of alternatives to perhaps have a better outcome in the situation. So, what we're going to see here are the male and female Los Angeles sheriff's deputies arrive at Niami's apartment. Again, her 9-year-old daughter is present while her ex is there assaulting her. And when the deputies arrive on the scene, Niami is extremely agitated because she says that her ex put his hands on her 9-year-old daughter, another black girl, black woman, black female. The man put his hands on a 9-year-old. Niami, responding in a way to protect her daughter, as I imagine any parent would, but especially any mother would. She was armed with a knife and she was ready to defend and protect her child. And that is a scenario in which these deputies arrive. And again, content warning, trigger warning. We're going to hear the shots fired, guys. But I want you guys to count. I want you guys to count from when that door opens to when this fucking pig, Ty Shelton, unholsters his pistol and kills this woman in front of her child. Just count how many seconds in which this piece of shit decided to make this life or death decision against a woman who was experiencing domestic violence and who just finished telling these cops that she was there protecting her daughter. Let's take a look at this.
They're young.
They're in the back room if they're not answering. Yep. Hold on.
Hey, come out. Yeah, I'm gonna stab him because he
Hey!
my
Go. Give me your taser. Come on,
No, don't.
Drop it!
Why did you shoot?
Drop!
They're young.
That's re-rack, Will. You don't have to shoot it again. No, that's enough. Trust me, one time is enough. We do not need to see that again. Thank you, though, for playing that, Will. And guys, the entire fuck, everybody. What in the entire fuck? You're trying to tell me that 2 sheriff's deputies trained, could not disarm a woman with a knife. Couldn't disarm her. Just had to pull the gun and shoot. The fuck was you asking for the taser for, Officer Shelton? You didn't deploy the taser. You shot her 4 times. The Los Angeles County coroner determined that her manner of death, Niami's manner of death, was homicide by multiple gunshot wounds. Her family has already filed a wrongful death lawsuit, civil rights violations, not only against Los Angeles County, but against the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. At a press conference, Will pop up the article back for me again because the Guardian covered this because the 9-year-old, the daughter who was there witnessing her mother be murdered by police, spoke at the press conference. Her name is Ziani. And she actually said quite bravely, she said that the police lied about what her mother's actions were doing when they decided to murder her. And it's just it's so maddening on so many levels. This is what the little girl was quoted as saying at the press conference. It says the police lied that my mom was threatening them, Zania said at a press conference. The 9-year-old said the police lied that my mom was threatening them. She would know she was there. She witnessed the whole thing. Zania went on to say, this is part of the Guardian article. She went on to say about her mother that she was my best friend, that she was always there for me. The 2-year-old daughter is asking for her mother, wants to know when her mother is coming home. You guys, again, when you stand at the intersection of multiple marginalized communities, you very clearly can understand how something like this could happen. And, unfortunately, not enough of us have the awareness about our status or our station in this society. Because, American indoctrination is quite good at getting school age students to believe that this country is the home of the free and land of the brave, and everybody gets treated equally in America. And, if you are in trouble or if you are endangered, call the police and they're there to help. What you don't understand is that that doesn't apply to you when you check off certain boxes belonging to certain communities. And Black woman are two of those boxes, Black and woman. We can't expect protection on any level. And it breaks my heart that this woman was subjected to this violence by her former partner. Not only this woman and her daughters, her children, but at least the 9-year-old girl. And again, the early ages in which Black girls are conditioned, even just by their experience or by what they witness, we you should expect violence. Little Black girls, you should expect violence. You should expect that if you do say behave in a way that your male partner or a man doesn't care for, you should expect violence. Like don't silly on you to expect anything else. That's what the little girl learned, okay? And expect violence all around. So the mother received violence from her ex-partner. So did her 9-year-old. Received violence from her ex-partner. And then when they went to go to the state for help, the state showed up with more violence. And Ty Shelton, the officer, the Los Angeles sheriff's deputy who killed Niani, has killed before. In 2020, Officer Shelton shot a 61-year-old man. I believe it's Michael Thomas. I hope I have that name right. A 61-year-old Black man who was accused of domestic violence. Officer Shelton or Deputy Shelton and other Los Angeles sheriff's deputies showed up at Mr. Thomas's apartment because they had been called because of a domestic incident. When they arrived at the apartment, the metal screen door was closed, but the other front door was open. So the deputies, long story short, Mr. Thomas told the woman that he was assaulting not to open the door for the cops. Cops came in anyway, and they are attempting to arrest him. The Los Angeles deputies are attempting to arrest Michael Thomas, 61 years old. One deputy is on one arm, another deputy is on another arm, trying to arrest him. In the report, the police officers claim that Mr. Thomas reached for one of the deputy's gun and actually had his hand on another deputy's holstered gun. The report wasn't clear on whether or not Mr. Thomas actually was able to gain possession of the gun. They just said he had his hand on the holstered gun. And then Deputy Shelton, Ty Shelton there, unholstered his pistol and shot Mr. Thomas point blank range, one in the chest. And I said, that story doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any fucking sense. You're trying to tell me that a sheriff's deputy is going to shoot a combative suspect whose being handled simultaneously by two of his colleagues. So you're telling me that two other sheriff's deputies are trying to get control of this man physically, trying to arrest him, and somehow Officer Shelton shot him when he could have very easily shot one of his colleagues, right? That story didn't make no fucking sense. Ultimately, there were no charges brought against Ty Shelton, and he was returned back to duty, where he has been allowed to kill again in another domestic violence incident. Instead, this time he killed the victim. Okay? And for those who might say, well, Niani was wielding a knife. She was attempting to stab her ex. She was in a state of distress and in a protect or die mindset. There were multiple ways in which the officers could have de-escalated that situation without resorting to gunfire. They could have tased her. They could have tackled her. They could have even issued a verbal command. Kids, did y'all hear any verbal commands? Did you hear? Did you hear put the knife down? Did you hear put the knife down or I'll shoot? Did you hear drop the weapon? Did you hear any of that fucking shit? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. None of that. This is not a training issue. This is a humanity issue. This is an issue in which I can't see how a person could shoot a mother in front of her daughter. I just don't get that. But I guess I will never get it, because the types of people that are recruited by these law enforcement agencies are meant to have the mentality that we are less than human. The code that police give on certain calls, service calls, well, they will radio back to dispatch and say NHI, no human involved. But they will use that whilst describing people, whilst describing humans. So what does that say about the way this so-called public servant might respond to a member of the public? Not very favorably. not very favorably. But gang, I need us to be clear, okay? Like, we have to be there's a couple things here. For one, we have to be far more in tune to what domestic violence looks like, and the ways that we can try to proactively help those that are victims of domestic violence, okay? Like, yeah, are most dudes bragging about how they showed up and terrorized their baby mother or they ex? Like, no. I think we're in a point in time in our society now where that's not something that men brag about at work, right? I'm sure there was a time in which, the man them would show up at work and talk about how they had to put a foot in their old lady's ass. I mean, what am I supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? The bitch was acting crazy. What the fuck else was I supposed to do? Right? I'm sure there was a point in time in our history, probably not so distant past, in which that level of conversation was perfectly acceptable, by amongst the mandem. I don't think that's the case now. I think domestic abusers, and again, to in the interest of unfairness, I'm specifically talking about the male female hetero dynamic in which the male is the aggressor, right? And I understand. To be clear, y'all, I'm not ignorant nor oblivious, nor am I unsympathetic to the male survivors of domestic violence. Do some chicks kill their dudes over domestic violence? Absolutely. Do girls come over and fuck up man car windshield tires? All that yes. Do she attack? Yes. Will she cut? Yes. She would do them things. But when it comes to, the way at the rate the bodies pile up, it's not the same, baby. And y'all know this, okay? Y'all know that. And we're not gonna be we're not gonna play disingenuousness over here. We understand what the real gender war looks like. And unfortunately, it looks like that, right? It looks like a man showing up to terrorize a woman in front of her children, and another fucking man showing up to just end it all for the woman, just to end her, as though the abuse, the assault, and the terrorism that she had just experienced wasn't enough. And what do I say on this program, you guys? Black people, but you see here, Black women do not have the same level of self-defense. Like, we're not allowed to defend ourselves. Like, what do you mean defend yourself? No. You're supposed to stand there and take that. He's smacking you. Oh, well, you better put that knife down or we're going to shoot you. You can't defend yourself. You can't defend your daughter. This is what we mean by when Black women say that we are the least protected. Malcolm said it. Black women are the least protected in our society. That's what the fuck that looks like. Right fucking there, the least protected. Look at that beautiful Black woman, not protected. Not protected. So what do? I would like somehow, again, I would like for domestic abusers to be collected by the community. I don't know what that looks like. I don't. But given the hostility and the lack, no hesitation involved, in which the state will shoot down women. You understand? We see this not this not an isolated incident, right? The quickness in which the state will shoot down a woman, either defending herself, defending her family, or calling for help, tells us very clearly that we can't call the state for help. We can't count on the state to come help us. It's nonsensical at this point. You know what I'm saying? And the more that we get out and try to tell other people that, and I know to the regular folks, you know what I mean? Whatever that looks like. I know that sounds crazy. What do you mean don't call the police? I'm supposed to call the police. The police better show up. And like, I feel so bad for that sister Niami, because you know why? You know what? The main reason I wanted you guys to count the seconds from when the door opened to when the fucking pig shot her down is because I could hear it in her voice. We could hear this sister was a very articulate 27-year-old. I heard her very clearly saying what was happening, what needed to be done, what she was going to do, right? There was no ambiguity there. This lady was obviously very intelligent. And I could hear it in her voice, y'all. She thought that when the cops came through the door, she was going to be able to explain. She thought she was going to be able to explain herself, right? No, because he came in here hitting me, then he hit my daughter, and my daughter brought me the knife, and that's why I went and, was going over towards him, because right before y'all came in, he had just put hands on my daughter, and da-da-da. She thought she was going to be able to explain it, right? She thought she was going to have the time to explain it, because she obviously had the wherewithal mentally, the intelligence, the articulation. She knew she could talk to them cops. But what she didn't know is that the police was never going to give her a chance to explain herself. They was not going to give her a chance to explain herself in 3 seconds, in 13 seconds, whatever the duration was. It was absolutely less than a minute. In less than 1 fucking minute, these pigs decided that this woman's life was not worth de-escalating over, was not worth tackling over, was not worth giving a verbal command over. Fuck her. She's Black. She's unwieldy. She's bearing a weapon. Kill her, shoot her dead, shoot her like a dog. And that's exactly what they did. And the thing is, marginalized community, whatever, Black women, disabled, whatever. We know how we see ourselves. And I mean this in a positive way, right? Like I think in spite of, I think quite highly of myself, right? But I have to be realistic about the way the world views me. You know what I'm saying? Like how I present in the world. Like I can think I can think enormously wonderful, massive, great, admirable things about myself. How does the world see me? What value does the world place upon me? Not the value that I place upon myself, because those are two different things. And we have to realize, especially when we're dealing with people who are in positions of power like police, even if they good white folks, unfortunately, good white folks don't wear t-shirts that say good white folks on them, right? And shit. And even if the white folks did have t-shirts that say good white folks, then you should not believe the white folks who are wearing t-shirts that say good white folks. But you understand what I'm saying though, right? As a Black person, as a marginalized person, You can't assume that the motherfucker in power who's there to so-called show up to help you is actually there to help you and will view you as someone worthy of their service or of their assistance. So you got to remember how you show up in the world, okay? And please tell anybody, y'all, tell everybody. If you are Black, don't call the police. I know. I know. You know what I'm saying? If your house is on fire, call the fire department. If you're having a heart attack, call the EMTs. Specifically say, do not send police. I do not need police help. I need the fire department. I need an ambulance. Don't call the police to you. Second of all, if you are a non-Black person, and unless your intent is for the Black person to end up fucked up, harmed, or dead in some way, please, if you are a non-Black person, don't call the police on Black people. Do not call the police on Black people. You could be signing a Black person's death warrant. And I'm not, this is not hyperbole, everybody. We've seen enough of this. Like, this is systemic. This is beyond a pattern. This is a system. This is a standard operating procedure. This is how this shit fucking goes. And I'm sorry, none of us are lucky enough to roll that dice to think that, oh, well, this might be the incident in which, you know, I'm not going to have no problems because I've talked to the police before. I've called the police to my house lots of times because of domestic. Get that shit out. Cut it out. And even if you are justified in calling the police, don't assume that the police are going to show up there to help you, because we've seen countless example after example after example of marginalized person, disenfranchised person, oppressed person calling for help and receiving harm. And in this case, she received death. Adios mio. All right, what time is it? Have I held y'all hostage? Yep, I've been running my yam. My bad. All right, I'm offended to turn y'all loose here right now. Thank you all so much for participating. Thank you, Infinite Content. Thank you so much again. Our condolences to your family behind your grandmother's passing. Me shout out to all my people. Where there go my son Tyler. Hello, Tyler, baby. What's up to Valencia? Thank you so much for coming through. Donnie, afraid not. Quienes aquí también. We have Lady Alex. Estamos en la espacio. You know what I'm saying? Doing big things. Shout out to the good sis Franny Francais. Peace to the good brother Latif. Shout out to Court. Schulte 100. What's up, baby? Good to see you in here. Shout out to the Hearts. Like I said, Anna Hart, you should be good to go. In the jam, Damien, Stoner Loner. You guys, I mean, thanks to all of the Fire Fam, new members, older members, people who are members or not members or whatever. Like, you know, Damien, Ursula, Black Magic, who else? The good Heloise, the Hearts, Schultze, of course, Afra, Zenzibel, Shirley, James, Nawadi, who else? I know I got but Holly, Wendy, bunch of y'all, DJ Vesper X, Nat and Kane. I just wanted to say, like, I just appreciate you guys. I appreciate y'all. It's 2024. We're in this for another year. And you know, it doesn't go unnoticed by me that and it's wild to me that we have like a lot of y'all are usually here, which is fucking crazy. And I just want y'all to know that I appreciate that. Like, thank you so much for supporting in all the ways, in the material ways, in the free ways. Like, I mean, thank you guys. I just want you to know I appreciate that very much. I appreciate you guys also supporting Black Power Media. What's up, Don Hammond? Shout out to the good people over at Status Quo. Shout out to Jordan Cheriton. Kamal and I were on there. What the fuck day was that? Saturday. And I know that y'all come through and show up in the spaces when y'all see me, you know, showing up in other spaces. And I just want y'all to know that I appreciate that. I do. I'm not ungrateful out this bitch. But I think y'all know that too. You know what I'm saying? Even though we little, we gonna be big. We're gonna be big one day. You know what I'm saying? So I just want y'all to know I appreciate Valley Girls. You too, baby. You know I thank you, Valley Girls. You won too. Shout out to Cynthia Rose, Cindy. You won too. Who else? Alicia, where my niece Alicia at? And again, Teresa, I know, Noli D. I know y'all come back through and watch the joint after the fact. Matt Siegfried, thank you very much. Like, I mean, Patrick S. Thank y'all. I mean, again, y'all could be a lot of places. So that's a lot. There's a lot of channels on YouTube, and here y'all are. So thank you guys. That's not bullshit by me. So thank you guys so much. Join us tomorrow morning on the Remix Morning Show, Black Power Media. I don't know who's gonna be there tomorrow morning. I never know who's gonna be there tomorrow. I barely know if I'm gonna be there in the morning, but I have my alarm set. I have my ringer turned up. My alarm was set this morning, but I have my ringer turned down. So when I woke up at 9:22, the alarm was going off. I was like, oh shit, I done missed the shit. But anyway, so I got my ringer turned up. I'm gonna be turned up tomorrow morning. Black Power Media. Tune into the Remix Morning Show, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. We appreciate you guys. Listen, y'all. On behalf of Will and Molly, thank you all so much. Again, appreciate you guys engaging with the clips that we've been running as premieres. We're trying to do a little something different here. So if you see a premiere, I don't know, fucking touch the shit. I don't know what you do with the shit. Just touch it, engage with it, push it. I don't know. Do something to the joint. Just touch it in some way. So anyway, so thank you guys for supporting. And again, BIDWKB, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Patreon.com/BIDWKB if you guys want to run us some material support. On behalf of Will and Molly, thank you guys so much for everything that you do. And we'll see y'all back here on a Friday, bitches. See y'all later. Bye-bye. Happy New Year.